Hey everyone, this is Paul Jackson from Blackberry Smoke, and you're listening to the Little Ozzy Podcast.
Welcome back to the Little Ozzy Podcast. We have so much fun here. Lots of fun. I'm very happy to have an important guest to me, someone that I've followed pretty much through the 80s, back in the day when music was kind of changing and GNR came out. There was the coolest band, and it was Faster Pussycat. And I got all their CDs, and I just used to love them, and totally interested in this guitar player in this band because he was so cool. He was so cool looking. Welcome to the show, Mr. Brent Muscat.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going really good. How are you doing out there in Vegas, man, with this crazy pandemic, and then suddenly it's over and all these riots and all this unrest in the world, man? How are you doing, and how's your family?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you for having me on.
Thank you, brother. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's crazy times with the virus and all the unrest and stuff. I don't know what to. I'm hopeful. I like to say I'm hopeful that we've gotten through hard times before.
Yes.
And we've made it through.
Amen.
And I think I'm hopeful. I think they'll have a vaccine by the end of the year, which is incredible because usually vaccines take 5 or 10 years to make.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe, I'm hopeful. I believe in, I have faith in humanity. I have faith in science, and I have faith in God, and I have faith in all these things that I think will get us through this time,
Amen. I agree with you, brother.
And like I said, I think even if they don't have a vaccine, I think they're going to have. They're trying so many different drugs. They have, and everywhere in the world has this. So it's not just America's fight with the virus, but everywhere in the world has this pandemic going on. So there's so many places trying different antiviral drugs and things and therapies for it.
Right.
That I think, even by the end of the year, even if they don't have a virus, I think they're going to have a lot more therapies and drugs that will be able to save a lot of lives. I don't think my prediction would be, 1, they're going to have a virus, or 2, it won't be as deadly. If somebody gets it, it still could be deadly, but I think it won't be as deadly because I think, we're learning so much, and the doctors and science, there's so many smart people studying and learning that I think we're going to be in a good position. Whatever it is, I think by January of next year, we're going to be in a really good position. And I think with all the unrest and stuff, I think a lot of it's just because it's election time,
Well, I agree.
Always around election time, there's always, there's always people, that want to stir shit up, you know what I mean, and separate people.
Man.
But I think
right.
by the time January comes around, whoever's going to be president, that tension is going to be over a little bit because whoever's going to be there is going to be there. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm hopeful. I think people basically are good. There's bad people in the world. You know what I mean? No matter who it is or what job, there's always going to be a few bad apples. And unfortunately, I think with I think the media likes to show people the bad stuff.
Oh, they love it. People eat it.
They don't like, and they don't show the good stuff as much. You know what I mean? They don't. There's a lot of good too, and I think there's a lot of good people, and I think people will come together. And like I said, I lived in LA when the LA riots happened.
Wow.
And they had to call National Guard for that, And we got through it. I got through it, and and as far as like even the diseases, pandemics, when I was a kid, I know there was like a Hong Kong flu, and then 100 years ago, of course, the country went through they call it Spanish flu, which was really, really bad. And back then, at that time, I don't even really think they had antibiotics or anything, So if you got sick back then, man, you didn't have a lot, you didn't have a lot of medicine. So I'm thankful we live in a time now that I think, like I said, I think we'll get through this, and I'm really hopeful,
Yeah, amen. That's important. I believe that's important.
Yeah, I'm really super hopeful. I stay hopeful,
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because I believe any tragedy we go through. I remember working in downtown Richmond when the towers went down, and seeing that on TV, and right away I just kind of had a feeling this is not good. This wasn't an action. Right. And I remember.
But I remember after that happened, there was Americans came together as one.
Right.
If you remember, and it was kind of an outside enemy,
Exactly.
And we all came together as one. And everybody was patriotic. I remember that, very patriotic. Everybody felt real patriotic at the time.
It's true. I remember driving home and seeing people's faces on the interstate, and everybody just had this look on their face, and everybody would let you in front of them, or everybody was kind, and it was like, generally speaking, what you said, man, I think, even in the middle of all this that's going on, when I'm out here during the day or doing my daily things, I try to just be a little better to somebody.
Yeah, you just try to be, I agree too. You try to do your best to be kind to people and do your best to spread love, and that's the main thing. I think try to be kind and try to be understanding, and spread love. And I think we'll get through it. I think it's just like I said, everything. It's a bad time just because so many people, I think, were out of school and out of work too.
Oh man,
I think
everything.
I think everything. It just was combination. So I think we'll get through it. And I think as jobs come back, and I think, like I said, I really do believe, we'll have the vaccine. Which, like I said, which would be really incredible if they have it by the end of the year, around January. That's like going to be a world's record of like them able to, get something, and so many different countries are working on the vaccine, which is good. And like I said, therapeutic drugs too. So I'm very hopeful, and it's a good time in some ways too, because in some ways you got to take the good with the bad, with sometimes with all these tragedies and bad things that happen, we learn something and we grow sometimes from the pain, the suffering. Sometimes we grow,
We do, Brent, you got a good point, man. You have such a sweet spirit about you, by the way. I was just going to bring that up, and you did. And it's amazing because when you depend, I'm a tribute artist, okay? And I depend on shows, to eat and take care of things. And when you stop dead in your tracks and you're quarantined, and it's amazing how good things can come out of it.
You get to spend a little more time.
Wow.
Even as for me, I've gotten to spend a lot more time with my family, and you kind of focus too on what's important. Maybe you're not spending. Maybe people don't have the money to spend frivolously on like unimportant things.
Right.
So I think it makes people focus on sort of what's important, and so many people, even in my neighborhood, people were like just kind of more at home, working in their yards, and I think there could be some good things that come out of it, like where we really think about what's more important, what's important, and
exactly. It reminds me what you said. I can't help but be reminded of a scripture that said, "All things work together for good to those that love God." And it seems like that. We're forced to spend time and reflect on the important things in life again. and not our wants and our needs. And, this podcast, which I'm having a blast with, has really taken off during the pandemic. My wife was like, give them a shot, hit them up, some big ones like yourself. And I started getting responses, everybody's in the same boat, regardless of race, income, what's going on in your life. We're all in the same boat together,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true, yeah. We're in the same boat. We just got to learn to, and even on I think of it like that too, even sometimes on a boat you might have a mutiny or you have fights, but you learn how to get along because you're out there and you got to survive.
Yeah, you got to pull together, man.
We got to survive together. You got to work together, and
that's right.
I think, like I said, we'll get through all this stuff, and I think probably come out the other side a better, you know what I mean? And that's the thing I think we strive for. Each of us, sometimes individually, we try to be better people,
Yeah.
And that's a good thing, if we could be better people, and we're going to see a lot of good things, a lot of bad things, and I think we can learn from that,
Yeah, I agree.
You see a lot of bad things, and you go, well, that's not what I want to do. Even me with my kids, I could teach them, hey, this is good, but you don't want to do that this way. This is bad, and I think there's some learning experiences, and it's good. Even when my kids sometimes think different than me, which is really incredible because they're growing up. I have a 14-year-old daughter and a 10-year-old boy, and sometimes like my 14-year-old daughter's definitely got her own opinions, and it's just amazing to see her grow as a person too.
Nice.
Just have sometimes her own ideas.
So how old is your boy?
11 actually right now.
Oh wow,
11.
So 14 and 11.
And so it's good, and I get to I've been making a little money doing some while I was off, I was just sitting on my couch and I go, I need to get out and exercise.
Mm-hmm.
So I just decided, you know what, I'll go. A lot of people are stuck at home and need things. I'll go do some just delivery stuff just to make a little extra money.
Yeah.
And also get out there and help people that can't maybe leave the house. I've been doing a little bit of that.
That's fun. My wife and I we downloaded a food app and started delivering food just to be together and go out here and do something.
Yeah, and it's cool because you can kind of work when you want, and then you can also, you're kind of, in some ways, you're I forget what they call the essential worker, they say, right?
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and you're helping people that maybe can't you're helping people that maybe can't get out of the house, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then also, what else have I done? I've been doing some online guitar lessons.
Sweet.
Yeah, so...
Do you do that on Skype?
I do that, actually. Sometimes I use different things, but what I've been using, what I like is I've been using, Instagram has like a little chat, kind of video chat thing on it.
Yeah, that's real clean.
And it works pretty well. I mean, it pops up, and I could see myself on one side and see the student on the other, and same with them. And I just make it so they could see where my hands are on the guitar neck, and we just go over and learn songs together. And
sweet.
I teach some scales and pentatonics and just some music theory. So I've been doing that, and so I'm really fortunate, that I'm kind of here in Vegas, and Vegas is starting to open up again.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. I want to get out there so bad, man.
Yeah.
I do. I went out there years ago with the Kiss tribute. It was a little Kiss band called Mini Kiss. I'm a little guy. I'm only 4'9", but
cool.
Yeah, I got to go out there a lot and play some of the bigger places. But I've yet to go out there as Little Ozzy. It lasted 10 years, and I think it would be perfect. I mean, we have a killer band. None of it's backing tracks. It's all live. It's
cool.
I would love to come out there. I talked to Dwayne.
Yeah,
about
definitely.
it. Yeah, our buddy Dwayne talking.
Hopefully they just started opening the casinos up, and so I think they're going to check that out for a little while, see how it goes, and then I think hopefully they'll start having live music again, because that's where I was doing, that's what I do mostly, what I've been doing out here since I moved to Vegas in 2004.
Wow.
And I've been able to just play music at different, venues here in Vegas
I've seen you in several lineups out there. Let's see, we had at one time the Sin City Centers, but now before that, when I was out there, our sound guy knew you, and I can't remember his name, but you were in another project back then.
Yeah, I've had a bunch of projects. While I've been out here, I've had some different projects, which has been fun. But I've been fortunate to be able to work and make a kind of a living, doing that.
Awesome.
And which is really, I was really lucky when I was young to get signed and be able to tour with Faster Pussycat.
Man, that's what I want to know, man. Like, where were you born and raised?
I was born in, I guess a suburb of LA called Monrovia.
Okay.
Probably about 45 minutes outside of Hollywood area.
Mm-hmm.
About 45 minutes, so not far. And then, I grew up and I was in bands in high school, like little local bands.
Sure.
And then, when I was in high school, a lot of times I played with older guys too. Started playing with my older brother, and he had, older friends, so I learned a lot, and I joined Faster Pussycat basically right out of high school. I mean, they actually came to, I have a picture of Tammy and Greg and some of the members of Faster Pussycat at my high school graduation.
How cool was that, man?
Yeah.
I mean,
it was
wow, that's
right
cool.
in the band, probably right before I actually even had my high school graduation.
Wow.
And it was tough because, I was young and I didn't have any place to live in Hollywood, so I'd have to go out and basically sleep on people's couches in Hollywood,
Yeah. So I'm guessing you probably
they call it the couch tour. You know
the
what I mean?
couch tour. That's beautiful.
And I remember I stayed on Tammy. Tammy lived with Ricky Rackman, from Headbangers Ball.
Mm-hmm. I believe he's North Carolina. Isn't he like in North Carolina now, Ricky Rackman?
I don't know. Not that I know of, but I mean, could be.
Wow. So Tammy and him were good friends, close friends, lived together. Because I remember him.
Yeah, they lived together and started the Cat House,
which I got to visit. Nice.
Yeah.
I think it's. Did they change it to the Cat Club?
No, it was always the Cat House.
Okay.
I think there was a club in New York called the Cat Club.
Okay. Yeah.
But as far as Hollywood, it was always the Cat House.
Wow.
And it used to be Ricky and Tammy's famous Cat House, and then because Faster Pussycat was on tour, Tammy couldn't be there. Tammy kind of gave it up to Ricky, and it just became Ricky Rackman's famous Cat House.
Hence your song on your album.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But in the beginning, it was Tammy and Ricky's club, and it's kind of our club, too. I used to walk in there, and, the guys at the front door knew me. So, of course, I'd just walk in for free, and the bartender knew me, and I'd get drinks for free, and it was
your club too. You were in the band, yeah. That's a good feeling of entitlement at that age, I'm sure.
It was our club, and I was really young, so it was pretty cool. I had my older brother Corey's fake ID. If I ever, but I was young. I was in those clubs when I was probably 20.
Wow.
19, 20, right out of high school, pretty much.
Yeah.
And, it was fun. It was a good time, it was a good scene. There was, when we came out, Guns N' Roses were playing the strip clubs, little clubs there, Troubadour Whiskey, Roxy.
Yeah.
It was a good time, But I've been but I was saying, I've pretty much been able to play music all my life. I've gone from one thing to the next, and I haven't had much downtime as far as not playing music.
Right. Until now.
Which is good.
Yeah, that's right. And then, like you said, you can do your guitar lessons or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, and I'll play again. I mean, as soon as things open up, I'll be playing out here,
Well, it's interesting. I was listening to one of your other interviews when I sent you that message and said we have a lot in common. And I could feel your pain, man, with the Sin City Centers in the management situation, and people
Oh, yeah,
just
it was
will
kind
push
of a
a nice
bad
guy around,
bad
man.
deal.
You know?
Yeah, it was hard. That was a little bit hard. Sometimes, I just felt like sometimes you get people in your life that just
They're toxic.
Yeah, and they're toxic, and you just don't. Sometimes you don't know it because they're so good at kind of
Oh, they're slick.
slick, like almost a con man. Like a con man.
Exactly. It's almost like voodoo or spells too, because
Oh yeah,
they
they're
can
real
build.
good at what they do sometimes because they've been using people all their life, so they really know. They know how to talk to people and get, and so, and I don't think, like I said, mostly, like I said when I said I had hope in people, I think and for the most part, people are good.
Oh yeah.
But you're going to get a bad apple one, so you're going to get a, almost like evil person. And sometimes just not good. Maybe not evil, but just not good.
Right.
For whatever reason. You know what I mean?
And you do grow, like you said. I grew.
And you grow from it. Yeah, sometimes you grow from it. So you can take a bad experience and learn. If you can learn from it, it's not always bad because you could save yourself some further pain in the future. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right. So
I'm a little more careful now.
Oh, buddy, I feel you.
Well, just if I feel somebody's using me, I'll confront them, or I won't be. I'll stick up to myself. I will stick up for myself. You know what I mean?
Assertiveness.
Basically, and I just, and I give everybody a fair shake. But if somebody treats me bad, I let them know. You know what I mean? And it's like, and if I do somebody wrong, I'll apologize, If I think I did somebody wrong or if I did something, I will try to make amends or apologize and learn from it,
Yeah.
But I'm real quick now if somebody does me wrong to say, hey, or if they have a repeating pattern of that, I'm very careful and I'll just stay away from them. You know what I mean? Because I just don't want to get, it's not worth it getting hurt, by somebody who's a con man, so to speak,
You're a wise man, Brent. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think like I said, you have to be careful, but I mean, the most part, like I said, I'm pretty open-minded and I'm very friendly, but at the same time, I've learned a lot too, where I won't get, I don't want to get walked over,
Correct. That's right.
Yeah.
So you have had the Saints of Las Vegas together for a few years, correct?
Yeah, it's been a while, funny, when I started playing out after City Centers, I started playing out, and I did have a problem with the management of that band, and he would go online and say stuff like, "Oh, it's confusing," and or something. I was out playing and having like a lot of people join me on stage for like Brent Muscat jam.
Yeah.
But he was complaining that people are confused. This is not the Sin City Center. So I just said, I'm going to call it something totally opposite so people aren't confused. And that's where I kind of came up with the Saints of Las Vegas.
Great name.
Sort of like opposite of Center.
Exactly. I love that.
And it was fun, I've been doing that for some time until, like I said, things got shut down. And I knew it was coming. I kind of knew, I was kind of following the whole virus thing before it even got here to America. I've always been interested in when Ebola came out, I was following that on the news and SARS and all that stuff. I always follow that stuff on the news to check it out. But I remember when it wasn't even here yet, I had a feeling I'm like, man, if this comes to America, it's going to screw up some of the music stuff. And I knew that. As soon as it started coming, like the first case in Vegas, I was just waiting for it to close down. I knew it was going to happen. And then we played for a week or two, and then of course things shut down. All the live entertainment shut down and casinos.
Yeah.
But I was kind of new. It wasn't a big surprise to me. I was kind of I was out playing the clubs, and I was surprised that they were letting it go. That they hadn't shut it down sooner.
Yeah, right. I think it was St. Patrick's Day here.
Yes, I wasn't really surprised, because like I said, I was following that before it even got here. I was watching watching the news on it and stuff.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think I'm hopeful. Like I said, that things will come back.
Right.
And I'm thinking it will probably be after January. I'm thinking it's going to be another, whatever. What are we in? June, July, August, September, October, November. Another 6, 7, 8 months before I think things come back. I think once they get like some kind of vaccine, you're going to see a big boom. Like everything's going to come back.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people will have already gotten it and probably be. They don't know yet, but I'm guessing they're gonna. They don't. The science isn't in if you can catch it twice, but they're definitely gonna. I think the people will have immunity because the people who have gotten it once will have some level of immunity. They might be able to get it again, but it's not going to be as deadly because once your body gets something, it has a memory. Your immune system has a memory.
Yeah, like chicken pox or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think a lot of people have immunity, and the people that haven't had it yet will be able to. Some people I think have had it and don't even know.
You know what?
Because I think I remember I was like sick in
December?
February or something.
Okay.
And who knows? I could have, if I go test for the antibodies, I could have had it because they say some people get it and don't even get sick.
Well, I had 2 or 3 months almost that I had the worst case of bronchitis I thought I've ever had in my life. I felt like I couldn't breathe. I went through 2 rounds of antibiotics before it even went away, and it probably took 2 months. And that was back in December and January.
Yeah, mine was in January, February, and some people think it could have been here a little earlier. So you never know, but
right.
Like I said, I do have faith in science. Is getting better at stuff. Like I said, 100 years ago, they didn't even have antibiotics. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So I do have faith and stuff. I'm hopeful. I'm always excited when somebody. I was excited when they tried out the first round of the vaccine a month ago, like the first phase of one of the vaccines. I was like, wow, so soon. They're trying it out.
It was quick. I know.
Yeah, and so I have faith, and I think next year, I think some people are shocked. I mean, I know people, like some of my musician friends that tour all the time, and some of the people I know here too in town, I think they have a false sense of like it opening up sooner. I think they think like, I'm just going to be able to go out and tour again. I don't think people will be touring. My prediction is like, even once they get a vaccine, like say if they get one in January, it's going to take a while to get it out to everybody. It's going to take a month or 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking next spring, next summer.
Wow.
If things go really good, and I think that's if things go really well. I think it's going to be next summer. I think next summer. So I'm that's my mindset is like, I'm not planning to probably, if I can do it earlier, I will. If a casino says come and play and you can make some money, I'll go do it.
Sure.
But I'm not planning, I think, realistically, it's going to be next summer. So a lot of my friends that make a living too, doing music, I think they got to start thinking about maybe some other ways to maybe make some money, whether it's doing some podcasting stuff or live streaming or, maybe even opening a business, you know what I mean? I don't know,
Yeah, you're right. We had some good luck. We did a month ago, we did an acoustic unplugged Ozzy set, and we did it on Facebook and took PayPal and stuff. And we had like 27 the first time from the living room. And then we did one last Saturday, the second one, and we probably only had 12 because people are getting out and everything, yeah. But
yeah, well, it's hard because so many people are doing it now too. I was thinking about doing it, and because I've done it before, even before the pandemic, I've done some live streaming before.
Right.
And I was thinking about doing it, but once I thought about doing it, I waited, and then within a week, everybody was doing it, and I'm like, oh man, kind of too late to do it now. You know what I mean? So there's so much competition. Everybody's doing it, so it's kind of hard, really hard now.
It is. So
I'm really happy that I could go out and deliver some food to some people if they need it, or maybe give people guitar lessons right now. And then I think, I'm hoping, God, it'd be great if at the end of the summer, if everything gets better. But like I said, I think even being optimistic, I think it's going to be next year. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and maybe spring next year. You know what I mean?
Right. So you said that some of the casinos are opening now and trying that out?
Well, they're opening, but I called one of my agents who books, and he just said some of them are opening, but they're not booking any music yet.
Right.
And I know, like, even before they shut us down, they made us. We were playing one little casino bar on the strip, and they made us turn down so quiet. And I was kind of like, why are you guys making us, so quiet that, like, I could hear, we had an electric drum kit, because they didn't want live drums because they were too loud.
Sure.
So it was so quiet that I could hear the guy's sticks on the
Plastic.
the rubber pad.
Yeah.
I could hear that louder than anything. They made us turn down so low, and I remember they said they wanted quiet because they didn't want the customers and the bartender there to have to yell at each other because that could spread and I thought, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. They wanted quiet so they could communicate without having to be real close to each other.
Right. Yeah, that
makes sense.
It does make
I'm
sense.
thinking now they're gonna because of that too. It's gonna be a while before I think the live music comes back.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole thing about live music too, I was talking to one of my other musician friends about it, and I was telling them, I go, the whole point of live musician, like a live club, for it to be successful, you've got to have a room full of packed people jammed like right up against each other like sardines.
Right.
And I told him, I go, I'm really helpful, like I said, January, they get vaccine by then. But I go, man, our whole thing is about the way the clubs make money is packing them in and selling drinks and people talking and people singing and yelling. I go, man, the whole social distancing thing goes totally against what the live, experience is about. You know what I mean?
You're right. The rock and roll. That's right. It's all about the dancing and getting together, horns up.
And I think, like I said, once they get a vaccine, whoever wants one will be able to get one. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And I think that would be a good thing,
Yeah.
Because I'll get one. If it's safe, they'll be testing it and stuff. And I'm not, my kids got vaccinated to go to school. And, I know, like, my uncle had polio, but they, because he's older and when he was a kid. But I know after that they got a polio vaccine, and that saved so many people from being, from getting polio, or had a vaccine for measles and mumps and all these things. And measles is one that's highly effective. You can be in the room, and you could be on the other side of the room. Some of measles is like, it's like, with the coronavirus, I think it's 2 to 1. Like, for every one person goes in a room, like 2 other people get it. But with the measles was like 15 or 16 to 1. Like the spread rate. I forget, they have some like scientific number, like the R naught was like 16 to 1 instead of 2 to 1. So measles was highly infectious before they got the measles vaccine. So yeah, I've gotten a flu shot before, and I'm okay. So, and I got all my shots when I was a kid, probably the measles and mumps and all those, and the polio vaccine, all that stuff. So I think once I get that in January, things will really boom, and I think people that are afraid of not getting it, they don't have to get it, but I think they could get, it will still be going around for a while, I think, what I mean? But at least, they'll have a vaccine, and that will be a good thing, because I think at that point, you could really open up everything, fully,
Yeah, that's right.
It should be a good thing. Yeah, it should be a good thing. But yeah, I'm hopeful, I'm really hopeful,
Yep. Me too, brother. Always
And I
hoping.
think it's good to always be hopeful,
Yeah,
so.
you're right. So what are your plans as far as writing? Do you write yourself a lot?
Since this thing happened, it kind of slowed me down where it's just like, I haven't really had a chance to write because we've been just kind of, I like to write with other people too, a lot, or bounce my ideas off, but since I've been social distancing, kind of haven't had a chance to really be in that kind of mode yet,
Yeah.
I'm right now more in the mode of like, how can I kind of make a little money? You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
Do some guitar lessons, do some few deliveries, make enough money to survive. So I'm more in like that mode right now, like kind of,
I assume you're married, Brent.
Yeah.
How's your wife doing? What does she do? How did this affect her?
Not that much because she was already a stay-at-home mom.
Oh, cool.
So not a huge change for her.
Mm-hmm.
I think a little stressful because once I couldn't play my music out, I think
There you
in
are.
the beginning I think it was very stressful for her because I couldn't make a living playing music.
Yeah.
And so we were just in that holding, the first month or two, we were just in sort of a holding pattern of like, stay inside, don't go out, and then just, like I said, don't spend too much money, and just kind of get into like the survive mode,
Exactly.
But it hasn't, like I said, since I've been getting back out, and like I said, getting outdoors and exercising, and I'm careful. I wear a mask. If I go indoors somewhere where I'm around people, I'll wear a mask, and not always because I want to, but just because out of courtesy to other people, like maybe, a lot of the pit places I go inside, they're wearing masks for the work there.
Yeah.
But I figure if I wear a mask, I'm just showing a little bit of respect that, like, you're wearing a mask, I'm wearing, you're protecting me, I'm protecting you, Because I don't know, I could be sick, and like I said, some people are asymptomatic where they're sick and they don't know it. So I'm just a little careful, and not a big deal, wear masks for a month, and it's not going to be forever. It's going to be a passing thing,
Exactly.
And, what I like too is like back in when they had the plague in London, I look at Isaac Newton retreated out of London to like his family farmhouse, and he came up during the pandemic when he was all alone. He came up with like a theory of like gravity and light, how light works, and how the motions of gravity, how it affects the planets, and and a lot of calculus. I think he pretty much invented or came up with calculus. So I'm thinking, man, that guy did that while he was alone. So maybe it's a good time for everybody to sort of self-reflect and read a book, or like you said, maybe write a song.
Yeah.
So I did get to go in and record some stuff with the old Sin City singer Todd Kearns. We recorded a new single and we put it up on YouTube.
What a dude's a beast, isn't he?
Yeah, he's great. Yeah. I can remember when I first saw, when I was playing around Vegas, and when he first came to town, he was friends with some guys I was playing with, and he first came in, we were playing the dive bar, and I was playing on a little band there, and he came in. He was visiting from Canada, and lived here yet, and I remember he sang one song, and I'm like, I gotta be in a band with this guy.
Right.
I mean, it was like, I gotta be in a band with this guy.
That's awesome.
And that's how that started. I remember meeting him there, and went out, and him and I did our own version of Faster Pussycat for like a tour.
Yeah, I saw some of those videos on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
You know what else I saw that was cool, man? That I thought, wow, what a cool thing. Your Japanese video game stuff, man, and your knowledge of all that. And how cool is that, man?
That was cool. That's another thing, like when Faster Pussycat got dropped from Elektra Records,
Mm-hmm.
and when we disbanded, we didn't ever really officially break up, but we kind of disbanded, I guess you would say.
Where did you? Let me ask you a question too, because I'm curious about this.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was 1990. I had a buddy from Carolina, Roy Caffey, who ended up playing with Cold Sweat. You know, I'm sure you remember them. And MCA dropped them in that year. Is that about when you guys got dropped, when grunge came out and all that?
Yeah, it was around that time, a little after grunge came out. Nirvana was really big, and all the record companies were going to Seattle and signing all the bands in Seattle, like Pearl Jam and Nirvana and Soundgarden, and a billion other ones too that never got really big, like Mudhoney and all these other ones. So if you were a band in Seattle, you were pretty much guaranteed
Isn't that amazing?
time to get signed.
That was a sad day for me, man. I resented Nirvana when they came out.
Well, what's weird is, when they first came out, we weren't dropped yet.
Uh-huh.
So when they first came out, I liked them. I liked, and I understand resenting them because they kind of they killed us. They killed the thing, but for me, we weren't done yet. So I had a chance to sort of like look at it for what it was, and not like I didn't know yet that when Nirvana came out and they had their Teen Spirit song, I didn't know that would be the death of like LA metal. So for me, it was just like, oh, I like them because I grew up on the stuff they were doing was stuff I kind of grew up on anyways, like kind of punk and some of the stuff that they were influenced by.
Right.
So I thought, I liked them. There were a couple bands that I didn't like. I didn't like everything from there. Like, I wasn't a huge, and to this day, I'm not a huge Pearl Jam fan.
Right. Me neither.
Like, if you put a Nirvana album in front of me and a Pearl Jam, I would take the Nirvana for,
Definitely.
Keep the Pearl Jam, I'll take the Nirvana.
I have come to appreciate all that, and oh my God.
So I never, like I said, I didn't have an idea but that definitely did. Yeah, that was the time when LA. If you were an LA metal band, you were just kind of over. Even it hurt Guns N' Roses. Even they were the biggest of all of the bands from LA at that time.
Yeah.
And it hurt them too. I think,
Yeah.
And
that was crazy, man.
But I just figured I was more mad at. I wasn't so mad at I was more resentful of the record company, the people behind that were making the decision.
Oh, because they dropped you like a hot cake.
They dropped us, and they were signing everything. So, and what I always said was like, we still had tons of fans. After we were dropped, we came back to Hollywood, and we sold out one of the bigger venues, the Perkins Palace. We headlined it. The place was packed.
Wow.
And I remember going, we still have tons of fans. The fans didn't go anywhere.
Sure.
We had more fans. When we got dropped, we had more fans than we ever had.
Right.
What was weird is that the record company, as like a big business and corporation, they didn't look at like things as like, they just look at numbers and trends. You know what I mean? It's like, and I remember always saying, we were a bag of Doritos, but we were nacho cheese Doritos, right?
Yeah.
Nacho cheese flavor. And then this thing came out, which is all the grunge, and I said, they're Doritos too, but they're just Cool Ranch flavor.
Cool Ranch, yep.
Yeah,
because they're still rock and roll.
Is the company decides and everybody still likes nacho cheese. But what the company decides is we're going to market Cool Ranch.
Yeah.
So I remember, it's like if you go into the store and you could try to find nacho cheese, and all you could find is like Cool Ranch or all these other new flavors, and you're just like, I just want nacho cheese. You know what I mean?
It's so true.
Yeah, I was really kind of more pissed and very just not so much pissed, but saddened by the fact that, like, to the record company, we, you know, they weren't thinking we had lives. They weren't thinking of us as people with lives and, like, you know, depending on us.
Right.
And with fans, they just looked at us like a bag of Doritos, you know?
Yeah.
And they decided we're going to market this and we're not going to market this, you know? And I just thought, wow. And it was a big learning experience for me.
Oh, I can imagine.
When it happened, I was really naive, and I thought, like, oh, I'm going to have a career as a professional signed musician. You know, once I'm signed, you know, I thought it was going to last forever. But, you know, with a lot of bands, and not just glam metal or whatever, or LA metal, but with a lot of bands, you look and they have short careers, you know, and
yeah, like a lot of those guys are like voiceover,
you know,
or recording studios now. It's like, or making commercials or recording from film, and it's like, wow.
So a lot of guys had to go out and, you know, some of those bands stuck together, and because they still had fans, you know, they would tour. And I remember even after we disbanded, I remember, like, seeing Warrant still out there doing it, you know, without, like, a major record company and stuff. So a lot of bands, you know, trudged it out, or whatever you want to say, stuck it out, and, you know, still made albums and toured. And then I remember around 2000, 2001, 2002, there was there was sort of a comeback, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And we toured with Poison, I think 2002.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because there was sort of a resurgence of that whole like glam metal,
nostalgia,
sleaze metal, you know.
I was going to ask you another question. It's funny because you brought Warren up, but I have a really close friend I grew up with in Virginia, and he left in like '87 and came out there because his first cousins. They share that their fathers are brothers, Eric Turner, and he was in a band out there that was trying to make it called Shake City with Adam. What's his name? Do you remember that band, Shake City?
I remember that name. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, they came.
I was just kind of curious.
Friends too. Some of my friends, good best friends out around the time. My friends, Blackboard Jungle. A lot of those guys came out from New Jersey.
Oh, nice.
You know, so there was a lot of young guys out there that were from different parts of the country.
Yeah, right.
That moved to Hollywood. And it was really interesting to see them come out.
It was like Mecca out there, man.
Yeah, come out with nothing, you know, except maybe the clothes on their back and maybe maybe they paddle in one car together, and so many bands would come out.
Yeah, Poison did that in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, so it was pretty interesting. It was real neat to, at the time, all these bands, you know, you'd have one house with a whole band of guys living in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they'd have their girlfriends bringing them groceries and stuff, you know.
Keeping y'all alive.
Yeah. And it was funny because, you know, the guys in the bands weren't working. A lot of times it was their girlfriends doing something like stripping or something.
Right, yeah.
So it was a pretty interesting time, you know. It was real funny because...
and you got to live through it, man. You're one of the blessed ones. You got to live through all that. I remember reading, you know, the magazines, Metal Edge and Rip, and looking at all that. It was so big when I was young because that's all I wanted to do, you know, man. And I just...
Yeah, I was lucky to be there, you know.
Yeah, you were right.
Because it was kind of it was a fun time on the Sunset Strip. You know, it was a really fun time.
Yeah.
And back then, we were able to go up and down the strip and hand out flyers.
Yeah.
But then years later, I think probably right around when grunge came out too, the city made it illegal to hand out flyers.
Oh wow.
And they were really cracking down on on people cruising up and down the strip, and they're really cracking down on the whole like flyer thing, and that really hurt bands too, because all of a sudden you didn't have the same vibe anymore. You know what I mean? It was like
that was your social media, bro.
But back then there wasn't any social media. Like there was no. I mean, back then at that time there wasn't really internet. You know, and that's how we did it back then. We would go up and down the strip, and we'd go up and down Hollywood Boulevard and Highland, and we'd actually, if we weren't out at the clubs handing out flyers, we'd be out in front of a Guns N' Roses show at the Troubadour before they were signed, and we would be out there handing out flyers, to people, and or we'd be out at night pasting up flyers on, telephone poles and stuff.
Yeah,
and
that's so cool.
it was really funny. Yeah, it was like that was how we advertised back then. It was actually like, papers, and hung up signs and stuff, And
that's awesome, man. Brent, you're a heck of a guy, man.
Physical rock magazines, that you get in your hands, and that's how we did it.
Like they cranked up the print press. Quick copies and Kinko's, right?
Yeah.
Man. That's amazing.
So, I was real lucky. Even before I was signed, I was out there as a kid, just going to shows and seeing a lot of it, and I was really, really fortunate to be part of that thing, and right before the whole like sleaze metal or glam metal thing came out, I was kind of a punk rocker kid, and I was going to like punk shows out there, and it was fun because I was with my older brother, and he, they'd drive, and I was just a young kid, like probably 16, and I was going to a lot of those shows, so it was cool. I was actually got to be part of two different sort of LA scenes, music scenes. I got to see both sides of it, and it was a lot of fun.
Corrosion of Conformity. Did you used to like those guys?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we had like Social Distortion was a huge LA punk band for us, and I'm trying to think some of the other ones. Black Flag and Circle Jerks.
Oh man, DRI. Yeah, I used to dig that stuff too, man.
Yeah, and it was fun. It was really fun to be able to see the different scenes too, and be part of that whole thing.
Yeah.
So I was real happy, and like I said, when it all came to an end, I went out and just found jobs to do, and I still played. I never gave up music. I was when I would say Faster Pussycat got probably dropped in, I think around 92 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
And so from like 94, I'm thinking 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 98. For the next 6 or 7 years, I played in just bands. Like, I'd play clubs, go to people's garage and jam, and I just play in any band. If somebody said, "You want to jam?" I'd be like, "Yeah," and I'd go out and play. And
that's awesome.
Had a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun too then, because there wasn't the pressure of the big record companies saying you got to write songs, you got to write songs for an album, or you got to tour. It was like, well, I'll just get a day job, and then I'll go play out at night with my friends.
Yeah.
And I played in a bunch of different bands. I had a really good time then too. And it was kind of like a learning experience too, just saying, what's important. The important thing is not always being the biggest thing, but it's just about having fun a lot. It's just
exactly
doing that.
And that fire you have for the music in it, Because, you have to revisit that so much. I was so jaded by the same thing you went through, personally, myself speaking. It's so beat up by so many band members and management. Just a year and a half ago, and when I hired my stepson, who is 18, to be my guitarist, who Bill Leverty from Firehouse just produced his CD and recorded it for him. It gave me to watch this kid spend 10 hours a day in his room and learn the Randy Rhoads and write his own music, and it lit a fire up in me again. Like, wow, I've really forgotten what it's like and the importance of things like that. So when bad things happen, I think
you learn from it. Yeah.
I echo what you said. Yeah, you learn.
Yeah, and you never know always, but sometimes something good will come from it.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know what it's going to be always, but looking back, you always go, hey, that wasn't so bad, you know? I mean, change happened, and it looked like something really bad, but, you know, good, something came up from it, good, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes you can look back and even laugh, you know, at certain things, you know?
Oh, I know, right?
Or smile about stuff. That was so, you know, so it's a learning experience. So now when something bad happens, I try to think of it as like, it's going to pass, it's going to pass, going to learn something from it, and things are going to get better. You know?
And we're going to be better and stronger. I agree.
Yeah, definitely.
Brent, you're a kind man. I'd heard some good things about you as a person, and it was all good. And I can't thank you enough, man. I've totally enjoyed this hour. I looked at the clock and thought, wow, man, time flies when you're having fun.
Oh,
and,
yeah. Well, once again, thank you for having me on, you know, having me with you. And
I want the listeners,
nice.
Hey, buddy, it was my pleasure. But I want you to tell us, if somebody listening out here, man, wants to take guitar lessons from you, check you out, man, where can they find you, brother?
Well, like I said, I like to do it on the Instagram chat, the video chat on there.
Yeah, Brent Muscat.
So they could find me there. Yeah, Brent Muscat or Brent Preston Muscat. My middle name's Preston. So
nice.
my you know, maybe you could share that too. But my Instagram is just Brent Preston Muscat, and there's a little messaging thing on it. They can message me and say they're interested in lessons. And I've been a little busy right now, so I mean, but I'll try to make room for somebody, you know, if they're interested, you know.
I love that.
I'll make some time for someone. Yeah, if they're interested, yeah, I'd love to do that. And they can always say, hey, my guitar teacher has some gold records and actually had a #1 video on MTV.
Hey, and I can attest to that, man. I watched that video over and over and over. Don't take that song, make my favorite record. I was like, man, this is so cool. I got to get that cassette.
Yeah.
That was awesome, man. And a funny guy, because, you know, I'll tell everybody when I sent you the first message and said, Brent, I'd like to interview you, my answer back was a puppet playing Mexican music. And I laid on the floor and laughed. My wife laughed. And I knew right then, I thought, what a funny dude. How do I respond to this? Is he just being a smart ass? Or is he being, and I just kept laughing and laughing. And I said, LMAO. And you wrote back, LOL. And I thought, what a cool dude, man. That was so funny, dude.
Well, yeah, I saw that, and it just made me laugh so hard. I was like, I got to share this with some people just to make some people laugh. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like,
great, man.
I like when the puppet punches a guy in the balls, you know, and there's a point if you watch it, he picks his nose and wipes something on his pants.
Like it was his pants. Yep, that was great.
I was just laughing so hard. I go, I shared it with a lot of guys I play with, too, just because I thought, you know, share something funny in this time, like, everybody's down with the pandemic and the rioting and looting, you know, share some humor and something positive, you know?
Make somebody laugh and not piss somebody off today. That's right. Yep, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Brent, when we hang up, brother, I want to send you a gift. If you want to send me your P.O. box or your address, I always send everybody a couple things for doing this, man, just to show my appreciation. And, man, I hope we can stay in touch. And
sure. Do you want me to send you my address right through Instagram Messenger?
Yeah, you could do that, man.
Yeah, I'll do that.
And I would love that. And I appreciate you so much for giving me the time. And what a great time.
Thank you, and keep it up.
Yes.
Keep up the good job, and hopefully your program grows, maybe through everything, you know, this time, maybe it's a good time for you in this program to get out there, you know?
Yeah, I've really been excited and had some big ones. I did my first one, well, I did it a couple years ago and got like Craig Goldie and a couple of decent ones, and then I got Ricky Medlock from Skinner, and now he's like my bud and sending me commercials. And, yeah, so, you know, I appreciate you, man. You're one of the monsters of rock, man, and, you know, what an honor, brother. Thank you so
Right
much.
on.
I wish you and your wife and your beautiful kids.
I'll send you my address right to that Facebook Messenger.
Sounds wonderful, brother. God bless you and your family.
Thank you so much for having me. I'll talk to you soon.
Awesome. See you, buddy.
Okay.
Bye-bye.